Sega's catalog is quite literally filled with some of the most amazing characters and franchises that either never took off or never made a big reveal. Each person has his favorites, and while some people like myself grew with the Blue Blur, others grew with other characters, like a certain character that had the aspiration of being Sega's mascot, but unfortunately it was unable to find an audience. Back in the early Mega Drive days, Sega was looking for their Mario Killer, and after Alex Kidd failed to save the Master System from being anything more than a speed bump to the NES growing control of the world, Sega knew it needed a mascot that could capture the imagination and money of the gamers of that time. As we all know, they would eventually come up with Sonic the Hedgehog. Along the way, however, they created some other concepts, including a bunny that could throw things at enemies. This concept would percolate within Sega for years until it was finally released in 1995 as Ristar. It comes as no surprise that Ristar comes from some of the same creative minds who worked on the original Sonic the Hedgehog. The game is skillfully crafted platformer that produces visuals the Mega Drive was not supposed to be capable of, and gameplay that readily falters. Though Ristar can trace his history back to the original Sonic the Hedgehog, don't think for a moment that the games have much in common. It is a slow, plodding character who can't even jump very high, much less run. Instead, most of his movement centers around one very unique ability among platforming characters: the ability to grab and smash into things using his stretchy arms. Using this move, Ristar can kill, climb, swing, pull, and throw, producing a platformer with a wide variety of unconventional mechanics and single-level gimmicks that utilizes these abilities in inventive ways. Ristar is easily one of the most creative 16-bit platformers I have ever played. These gimmicks are Ristar's bread and butter, often altering how you play the game both subtly and drastically. The bosses and sub-bosses add even more variety, ranging from simple snowball fights to epic mid-air confrontations. To reveal anything more would only spoil the surprises that await you in the game, but it's suffice to say that almost every level has something new for the player beyond simply escalating the difficulty. The game's difficulty can be very uneven, with several difficulty spikes spread throughout the game rather than a gradual progression. The most challenging parts of the game are scattered throughout the middle, and some of the easiest stages of the game are the last two. But despite this flaw, Ristar is an incredibly well-made platform that oozes creativity and diversity. Ristar controls like a dream even in the water, buckling the all too common control issues that plague the water levels of most platformers. On gameplay alone, this is a very easy recommendation for any Sega fan. Of course, games are about more than just gameplay, and in the audio and visual departments, Ristar soars greatly. This is a very gorgeous game, utilizing every trick in the book to produce one of the most technically impressive Mega Drive games ever made, including some of the most colorful graphics I ever seen on the system. Many of the sprites are huge, and the game even has some little details that even many Super Nintendo platformers never bothered with. For instance, when Ristar is swimming around in Planet Undertale, the water darkens once he reaches a certain depth. While the most common enemy in the game is nothing more than an angry Puyo, the levels are also filled with large, colorful enemies that look far better than any enemies I've seen in any other Mega Drive platform games. The game's backgrounds are detailed and use multiple layers of parallax scrolling, giving many of the levels a nice sense of depth and scale. Sega pushed every ounce of power out of the Mega Drive to make this game come to life, and it shows especially in comparison to the rest of the console's library. Unfortunately, the Mega Drive was still not quite powerful enough to render this game flawlessly. When things become hectic on screen, the frame rate will slow down noticeably, and sprites will flicker. Despite these flaws, Ristar is still a very gorgeous game and easily one of the best examples of what the Mega Drive was capable of. The game's beautiful graphics are also accompanied by the beautiful musical score, full of the kind of boppy 16-bit chiptunes you would expect from a Sega-made Mega Drive platformer. Ristar also has an expert mode, a time attack mode, and boss rush mode accessible through passcodes. Ristar was the swan song of the Mega Drive. Inventive and technically impressive, it was the last in Sega's long line of classic 16-bit platformers, and easily one of the best. Though Ristar never received the same amount of popularity as other classic 16 platformers like Sonic, Mario, or even Donkey Kong, it easily stands alongside them as one of the greatest of this era. Anyone with a Mega Drive needs to play this. Anyone without a Mega Drive needs to play this too.